Dan here from Frontend Adelaide. Much like everyone else, we've been running a bunch of our stuff virtually this year. Recently, we ran a set of lightning talks from great local speakers. Lucky for you, we recorded them. So coming up is Rachel Mesler with Supporting Women in Tech. Hope you enjoy.
Thanks, Dan. So some of you may know me. I am Rachel, and I'm a graduate user experience designer at Head Full of Heart. And I'm also the co-organizer for Women in Tech SA, so the SA chapter of Women in Technology. And I get asked a lot of questions about how people can support women in tech. And so that's the point of this talk. And without further ado, I'll get started. So I could start this talk by stating the depressing figures and statistics of women in technology, the declining numbers, the underrepresentation, lack of leadership roles, and high turnover. But you already know there's a problem. You see it in your own company, the Adelaide community, Australia, and the industry in general. It's hard not to notice. Instead, let's talk about positive things that you can do to help make a difference for women in technology. After all, it's not a women's issue, it's everyone's issue. I will touch on day-to-day, short-term, and long-term strategies, though there are tons more that I will not cover as I only have a short period of time to talk. I will leave you with resources at the end of my talk for you to explore and learn from. Before we jump into the strategies, there are two things you need to be aware of. The first is gender bias. So you need to evaluate whether you or someone around you is making a choice or a judgment unaware that gender is attached to it. Best way to do this is by reflecting on whether your decision or judgment changes if it were done by a different gender. So for instance, we have an unconscious bias to think or perceive women as less qualified than their male counterpart. And when I say we, I mean we. Everyone has unconscious gender bias. Everyone also has privilege, though there are different privileges for different groups of people. Become aware of where you have privilege and where you lack it. Listen to and empathize with stories from people who lack your privilege. Also, in situations where you can exercise your privilege for good, use it to help combat bias when you see it. For instance, let's say you're in a meeting room with two others. The chair of the meeting is Sam. Sarah and yourself are attendees. During the meeting, you notice Sarah is reluctant to speak. Sam plows on without noticing. The meeting ends and you leave. This situation is quite common. Females tend to battle a lack of confidence when it comes to speaking up. There's ways we can help though, depending on your role in the room. If you're Sam, you're the leader in the room, and need to encourage everyone to speak up and for everyone to listen. Ask the person who isn't talking for their thoughts. If someone interrupts and overtalks, pause and allow the person who was speaking to finish. Don't make it into a 2020 presidential debate. If you're Sarah, step out of your comfort zone and speak up. It's easier said than done. I know I struggle with the two, but it comes with practice. And now your role as attendee. There's a strategy called amplification. It essentially goes like this. Your colleague shared a good idea at a meeting that you think went unnoticed. Speak up, repeat the idea, and credit your colleague. For instance, have a look at these lines. I want to emphasize what Sarah said. It's really demonstrated how pineapples don't really belong on pizza. I really appreciate your comment, Sarah. Your idea could really help us with our eternal react, angular, and view debate. As Sarah said, we can improve in this area by simply running the code again without changing it and hope for a different result. Sarah's idea of starting happy hour at 3 o'clock on Friday could be the solution to stressful last-minute prod releases. Of course, you shouldn't use this amplification simply because it came from a woman. That would make it disingenuous. Use it when you hear a promising idea and believe it's been overlooked. Though the key for this to really work is if Sarah speaks up and or if Sam asks for Sarah's opinion. So if you're Sarah or Sam in this scenario, make sure you're doing the best in your role. There are loads of other day-to-day strategies like amplification, but here's a quick summary. You need to identify and address discriminate comments, situations, or microaggressions, no matter how awkward it is. And that's using that privilege and awareness of privilege and awareness of gender bias, always. This could include damaging dialogue remotely, like you hear someone say, "You're really good at this," for a woman, or "You're really pretty," for a programmer. And avoid bro speak, like going out with the guys tonight, leaving the old ball and chain at home. It's a harmful stereotype, and it's not good. You should also listen and share the stories you hear, whether they're good or bad, about women in technology, so that everyone's aware of it. Use inclusive language, such as they. Educate yourself by proactively searching for material to read, listen, or attend. So attend events. Listening could be the podcasts and the audiobooks, like the resources you had gathered, but you should also be listening in person, specifically to the female colleagues that you have, and support them whenever you can. Ask them how you can best support them. Maybe they might have some suggestions for you. Follow them on social media, but also follow female tech leaders. Make sure they have a voice. Connect with organizations that encourage networking and mentoring with women in tech. Getting together with them. So there are short-term strategies as well, and those are making a difference in the near future. So the day-to-day is the now, but these are for the near future. The big one for this one is mentoring. It makes a positive difference for both mentor and mentee, so make sure you have time in your schedule to put aside for mentoring. Placement and shadowing is super beneficial. It shows the ropes to a young female university student, or it could be even for a female high school student who's interested in technology and pursuing it. During this time, you could reassure them that they have the ability to work in industry. Like I said, there's a lack of confidence. And if your company doesn't currently look for placement students, encourage them to do so. Volunteer your time to organizations looking to make a change. Reach out to those organizations in their community to help diversify your network. That way you can recommend or nominate someone for a position you know to be skilled in the area, plus there would be an asset to diversity. Share the spotlight. Ask yourself the question, do you need to be the one to give the presentation, be the project lead, or interview job applicants? Maybe you can give it to someone else, or you can share the role and responsibility. There are long-term strategies too, and these are for making a difference for future generations. The first one is encouraging young females in your life. So this could involve showing the young females the organizations you reach out to or volunteer, or just some that you know, and they would probably have the goal of helping young females give access to STEM education and resources, plus the mentoring and events to address common gender misconceptions in the tech field. Supporting equality policies. This could be work policies such as equal family leave, but also look into politics, national and state policies. Be diligent if you're hiring to quotas. There are talented women out there in tech for the job. Make an effort to find them. Hiring someone not fit for the job but fits the quota only leads to resentment from the team. This leads me to having a diversified team. Studies have shown that a more diverse company leads to better results. So don't put so much weight on cultural fit, aim for diversity. Speaking of diversity, if you see that your company, an event, a panel, or a conference shows low or no diversity, let them know your concerns. Give them feedback. Inclusive panels are really good. So if you're involved in the creation of a panel, avoid the manel, which is an all-male panel. Instead of panels, panels should be, a great opportunity to encourage diversity. This could be for an event, a conference, or even an interview panel. Also, if you are a woman and you're in the minority, don't be afraid to let your supervisors know that you would be interested in participating in a panel. And you should nominate women for awards of recognition you believe they deserve. You're going to make a positive change for the woman or women you nominate, plus a long-term benefit of nominating role models for the younger generations to look up to, something the industry is currently lacking. If you want to check out more ways you can help make a difference to women in tech, please look at the many resources out there. Here I have listed some, plus examples of people and organizations to follow. I will publish these slides on LinkedIn, so don't feel pressured to memorize them. Plus, it's being recorded, so just look back at the recording. With these resources and strategies in mind, let's work together to make a positive difference for women, your company, the Adelaide community, Australia, and the tech community. And for any questions, please leave them in the Slack channel and I will get to them.